Hi, my name's Rob Rizza. I live in a place called Pine Branch, Arkansas. Google map it, you'll see where it is that I live. Zoom out 1 or 2 clicks and you'll see where the Missouri-Arkansas state line is. And that's a critical piece of information in this discussion. What I need is the help of the national news agencies. Just one news agency would pick up this story. We'd be able to get this problem fixed and help all of the people who live in this area. The problem is that we live in Arkansas, but our address is Missouri. That causes a real bunch of problems because everything we do, whether it's what taxes we pay, where do our kids go to school, where do we vote, what insurance we're allowed to get, professional licenses, nursing, professional engineers, business licenses, driver's licenses, health insurance, it's all tied to the state that you live in. And if you don't have a state address to give these agencies, then you either can't get that product or service, or you're going to have to lie in order to get that product or service. And I take exception to having to do that, to be being forced into a situation where I have to act unethically just so that I can live my life like 99.99% of the rest of Americans. And the reason is the post office refuses to correct our incorrect address. They have no reason not to correct it. They simply will not do it because, according to them, they do not have to. Well, all I can say is if they were in this situation, the address would be corrected immediately. But they're not. They're not going to lift a finger to help us, to help me or my neighbors, because they just think that they don't have to. It's a huge problem. They're absolutely being unreasonable, and they will not discuss it any further with us or the residents here. I've been fighting this for 4 years. I've talked to congressmen, senators, state representatives, local news media, local county officials, and everybody in the post office about this. They all realize that what we have is a really, really bad situation, but they still refuse to correct our incorrect addresses. And it's very annoying because there is another community just to the east of us whose addresses they corrected, but they refuse to correct ours. And the only real difference, when you boil it all down, the only real difference between our community and their community is that what they were able to do with that community was, instead of using the Missouri post office to deliver their mail, they moved them to a close enough Arkansas post office to get their mail delivered, which means that new area over there, they basically didn't have to utilize a new zip code for that area. They just put them under the zip code with Oakland, Arkansas. Their community is called Price Place, Arkansas. They used to be, all of their mail was Pontiac, Missouri, but they changed it and they said, okay, we're going to just make you Price Place, Arkansas. You'll have the same zip code as Oakland, Arkansas, and the Oakland post office will deliver your mail. In our situation, they'll have to give us a new zip code. That's the only difference between us and them. That's it. They'll have to give us a new zip code, but that zip code can be delivered from the post office in Theodosia, Missouri. One post office can and has, in many instances, delivered to more than one zip code. So that post office can deliver our mail. We just get a new zip code, and our address says that we're in Pine Branch, Arkansas. But they will not give us a new zip code. Their excuses range from, we don't have enough zip codes, which of course is an irrational argument. They have plenty of zip codes. One zip code for us is not going to create an issue or problem for us. And even if they were down to their very last zip code, they're about to consolidate post offices in Theodosia. They're going to take nearby Isabella, Missouri, and bring their mail over to Theodosia, and nearby Thornfield, Missouri, and bring it to Theodosia as well. So essentially they could recover those 2 zip codes and use them elsewhere, because once you put them, they're all Missouri addresses, they're all Missouri towns. You can have one zip code delivering to 3 different Missouri towns. In fact, the zip code for Theodosia which is 65761, is actually a valid zip code for not only Theodosia, Missouri, but also Duggansville, Missouri, which is also a small community very nearby there. So that zip code is already being used for 2 towns. It could easily be used for 4 towns, including Isabella and Thornfield, and then the post office could recover those zip codes to be used elsewhere, one of which they could give to us. But they simply refuse to do it. We're too small numbers for them to be concerned about. They just don't care about us. It's absolutely incorrect. They are absolutely wrong, and they have no excuse other than the fact that, hey, we don't have to lift a finger if we're not either compelled to lift a finger by, shame or law, or unless it's to our advantage to do that. And right now it's not to their advantage. But if we could get just one national news organization to carry this story, all of a sudden they would be probably shamed into doing it. In fact, as soon as a producer from the Today Show called the US Postmaster's office and said, hey, we're getting ready to run a story about Pine Branch, Arkansas, and why you refuse to give them a correct address, I would bet you a paycheck that they would go ahead and fix this problem just so it wouldn't get actually on TV. So it's up to you, news media. Use what you have to do something good, to help some people. Even though we're a very small number, we're being mistreated. I mean, I have to lie just so I can vote, okay? And that's not right. But, and I say lie, a lot of these people that I tell lies to know I'm lying, but say, look, you have to give us a fraudulent address so we can put it in our system so that we can give you the document that you need, give you the product that you need. They understand the situation we're in, but we shouldn't have to use fraudulent information to get those items, those products. And like I said, you probably have no concept as to how big a problem this is. But addresses either directly or indirectly impact almost everything in your lives, particularly now that we're in this computer age where so much of what we do is online or over the phone, and those people that you talk to have no idea where you are or who you are until you give them an address. And that is the only address we have. Thank you very much. If you would like to research this a little further, please contact me. Send me a message to this YouTube video, and I will respond. And we can get this worked out. Because the only alternative I'm going to have here in the next few months, after 4 years of fighting, is to uproot my family again and move. Because if I move, then I won't have to be sacrificing my integrity. And I really, really didn't want to have to move. I've spent 30 years in the military. My wife spent 20 years in the military. We've probably moved, I think, at least 19 times over that 30 years. We thought this would be our last move, that we would be able to die in this house. But now we're going to have to move or sacrifice our integrity. And I am unwilling to sacrifice my integrity. My wife is unwilling to sacrifice her integrity just because the post office is forcing us to lie. Thank you.